walks in one day and then he says that he wants to make a movie.
He was blowing the money.
There was just like this habit that he had where as soon as he got money, it was gone.
I just didn't have the skills or the experience.
This money, I could see it disappear so fast.
Harare. Tune into the beat.
Capitalk 100.4 FM, your source for news, business, sports, fashion, and more.
Experience the pulse of Harare's culture and lifestyle.
Capitalk 100.4 FM, Harare's top radio station.
Join the conversation with Zimbabwe's top personalities.
Subscribe now for fresh and infotainment content daily.
Capital 100.4 FM, Harare's heartbeat.
Hello and good evening. You are watching Newsplus right here on ZTN Prime. It is a Friday, the last day of the working week. My name is Faith Nyaude. Here's a quick look at stories making the headlines tonight. Zimbabwe is expected to deliver its address at the United Nations General Assembly's 80th session that is currently underway in New York. We spoke to some analysts who gave their insights on the message Zimbabwe is expected to deliver to the world. Stay tuned for those insights. President Mnangagwa has urged war veterans to intensify grassroots mobilization as ZANU-PF sets its sights on securing another resounding victory in the 2028 harmonized elections. We shall give you extracts from his address at the 3rd National Assembly of the War Veterans League in Harare today. A somber atmosphere hovered over Bulawayo today as the city bade farewell to one of its most treasured sons, media and arts personality Babongile Sikhonjwa. We give you highlights from Babongile's final journey, which was marked by a solemn yet celebratory procession through the streets of Bulawayo, a city he loved so very much. Relegation fears are gripping both the green and blue halves of Harare as Caps United host Dynamis in the Harare Derby. Our first story this evening, President Mnangagwa has urged war veterans to intensify grassroots mobilization as ZANU-PF sets its sights on securing another resounding victory in the 2028 harmonized elections. Addressing the 3rd National Assembly of the War Veterans League in Harare today, the President and ZANU-PF's First Secretary described the gathering as a vital platform to consolidate the role of the veterans of the liberation struggle in shaping the country's political and socio-economic future. He also reaffirmed his government's commitment to the inclusion of war veterans. More details from the following report.
War veterans welcomed the president, determined to have their voices heard. They told him they want their families to inherit tangible benefits when they pass. They also want to participate in the economy and be recognized as economic soldiers as they were during the liberation struggle.
We want to be transformed from being political soldiers as we did to become economic soldiers, so that we'll be able to augment and support the economic trajectory of the president.
The war veterans also called for the exhumation of their fallen comrades from neighboring countries. They want them reburied in Zimbabwe. They also want a national day of mourning to remember their sacrifice for Zimbabwe.
Of late, we have seen the South African who came vakasecha mabhonzo ese in the country vakatakura avo akaenda. Those are kukumbira comrade president. Makomrades are in Mozambique and Angola and mabhonzo ese ataku
A request was made to remove colonial names of provinces and replace them with names which honor Zimbabwe's heritage. Now, the National Assembly for the War Veterans is not just an administrative meeting, but a platform for war veterans to address their concerns directly to the president. They spoke about their welfare and general recognition in society, and the head of state listened. The president assured them that their participation in development and governance is a priority for his administration.
To advance welfare matters of the war veterans of the liberation struggle. These include constitutional obligations of honoring you. In addition, the participation of our veterans of the liberation struggle in decision-making, governance, and development institutions remain the government's area of priority. The Second Republic under my leadership remains committed to empowering you.
Apart from creating a Ministry for War Veterans Affairs, government has also set up a revolving fund for them and provided agricultural inputs and equipment to help them better their lives. The president said more programs are in the pipeline.
I introduced the Presidential War Veterans Empowerment Scheme to assist you to improve your household incomes and lead a better quality of life. These include a revolving fund, housing project, and a board training program, among other things which are unfolding.
He also urged war veterans to intensify grassroots mobilization as ZANU-PF sets its sights on securing another resounding victory in the 2028 harmonized elections.
Going forward, more so as we are now focusing on winning resoundingly the 2028 elections, it is my expectation that as the War Veterans League, you scale up the implementation of your grassroots mobilization programs. More and more of our people should join the party.
Resolutions from today's meeting will be presented by the War Veterans League to the ZANU-PF National People's Conference in Mutare next month. Cheryl Mujenjema for ZTA News at the ZANU-PF headquarters.
Now, earlier in the day, President Mnangagwa met the Sables, congratulating them for qualifying for the 2027 Rugby World Cup that is set for Australia. Addressing the team, the president said their victory at the Rugby Africa Men's Cup in Uganda in July was a reflection of the country's resilience.
The 2027 Rugby World Cup appearance by Zimbabwe will be a dream come true, achieved after 34 years of waiting. This was a result of hard work and dedication. The president said the national team's qualification is a statement to the world about the strength and resilience of Zimbabweans.
The flag on your chest is not just fabric. It is the heartbeat of our nation. Let every tackle, every try, and every cheer remind the world that Zimbabwe is rising.
The Sables, who were given a token of appreciation for their efforts, were represented by some of the players and the technical team. The president said the historic World Cup qualification was a testament to the country's growing sporting potential, urging the Sables to leverage the global stage to market Zimbabwe's brand.
Another tournament, Zimbabwe carries a rare chance to sell its brand to the world. Let us demonstrate that our nation is dynamic, ambitious, and full of promise, ready to conquer the world.
President Mnangagwa hailed the qualification as an inspiration, with hopes that it will revive interest in the sport across communities and schools.
The popularity of the game must grow as a sustained national development project that nurtures and produces talent for generations to come. I urge the Zimbabwe Rugby Union to seize this opportunity for accelerated development of rugby infrastructure. Qualification for the World Cup must result in a balanced outcome through both participation abroad and transformation at home. The refurbishment of training grounds, building of rugby academies, strengthening of school and world-based rugby programs, as well as establishment of high-performance facilities for our athletes to compete with the world's best should be prioritized by the authorities in this sector.
Sports Minister Anselm Namo-Sanyatwe believes the Sables' qualification to the 2027 World Cup means a lot to the nation as a whole.
This qualification belongs not only to the gallant players and their technical team, but to every Zimbabwean who believes in the power of sports as a unifying force.
Sables captain Hilton Mudariki said the side was able to focus on the field of play as they received unwavering support from the president.
No, it's very important just to know that His Excellency and his government support us in what we're trying to do and what we're trying to achieve. It's a big boost for the guys. It allows us to focus on what we need to focus on, which is performances on the field. So we're truly grateful to His Excellency and his government for the support they've showed us.
The 2027 Rugby World Cup in Australia will not be a stroll in the park for this special generation. But what is certain is that they will give it their all.
Now, in a few hours from now, President Emmerson Mnangagwa, represented by Foreign Affairs and International Trade Minister Emon Mirera, will take to the global stage as he addresses the 2025 United Nations General Assembly in New York. Now, if you look back at his past two addresses, that is in 2023 and then in 2024, there's a clear pattern in the issues that Zimbabwe continues to champion. In 2023, the president pushed for debt cancellation and restructuring to give developing nations a real chance to grow their economies. He also called for reform of the UN Security Council, pressed for the lifting of sanctions on Zimbabwe and Cuba, and stressed the urgency of concrete climate action. Fast forward to 2024, his message leaned heavily on the Sustainable Development Goals, urging the world to accelerate action, boost funding, and embrace innovation. He also tied Zimbabwe's own Vision 2030 to the global development agenda. Once again, sanctions were on that agenda alongside strong calls for the right to self-determination for the people of Palestine and Western Sahara.
In a few hours, President Mnangagwa, represented by the Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Trade, Professor Amon Murwira, will address the 80th session of the United Nations General Assembly. Sweden-based Zimpapers politics and international affairs analyst Gibson Nyikadzino expects geopolitical and environmental issues to be part and parcel of President Mnangagwa's address.
You look at how confused the world has become in terms of looking for solutions to climate change issue, how issues of migration can be dealt with, droughts and other things. This also calls for the role which is key that has to be taken by women and young men.
If Zimbabwe's bid for the United Nations Security Council non-permanent seat for the 2027-2028 term is successful, it will be a major milestone not only for Zimbabwe, but for Africa at large.
It's a way of Africa, and we don't have to look at it entirely as Zimbabwe as a singular actor in the international system, but representing the collective interests of the African continent and specifically the Southern African Development Community.
President Mnangagwa is expected to be the voice of the Global South in advocating for reform of the United Nations Security Council to accommodate countries such as Zimbabwe to be part and parcel of global peace shapers. In line with advocating for inclusivity and fairness, Zimbabwe is expected to continue to make calls for the removal of sanctions and trade embargoes imposed on Zimbabwe and Cuba by Western powers.
It would be satisfying for Zimbabwe to continue its call for the removal of sanctions on its population and also lifting of the embargo against Cuba. That are some of the key issues which we are expecting.
Sanctions create an uneven field. Zimbabwe for more than 2 decades has not been receiving funding from global financial institutions.
Why? Because we cannot operate in isolation. We really need support from financial institutions. We really need markets to sell our critical minerals so that they can aid towards the development of this country. So the messages that we are expecting from this speech should be framed along the lines of the removal of illegal sanctions in Zimbabwe.
As Zimbabwe takes its message to the global stage, its push for Security Council reform, the removal of sanctions, and greater representation of Global South underscores a call for a more inclusive and equitable international system. All eyes now turn to the United Nations, where the nation's voice speaks to shape the future of global diplomacy. Tavares Buchiwe for ZTN Prime.
I thank you.
Still with the UN, last night Zimbabwe officially launched its international bid for a non-permanent seat on the United Nations Security Council for the period 2027 to 2028. Now, the launch that was held in New York was presided over by Foreign Affairs and International Trade Minister Professor Amon Mwirira, and that was on behalf of President Emmerson Mnangagwa, signaling Harare's renewed commitment to advancing peace, security, and multilateral cooperation on the global stage. Ibn Mabunda gives us more.
Representing President Emmerson Mnangagwa, Foreign Affairs and International Trade Minister Professor Amon Mwirira led Zimbabwe's diplomatic offensive in New York, launching the country's bid for a non-permanent seat on the United Nations Security Council. The campaign underscores Zimbabwe's commitment to multilateralism, peaceful conflict resolution, and the inclusion of women and youth in peace-building efforts. Professor Mwirira said the candidature affirms Zimbabwe's long-standing record in promoting peace, dialogue, and principled engagement on the global stage.
Zimbabwe has had the honor of serving on the Security Council first from 1983 to 1984 and again from 1991 to 1992. Today, Zimbabwe once again stands ready to contribute to this key organ of our United Nations as we seek election for the 2027-2028 term.
Zimbabwe says its track record in peacekeeping missions from Kosovo to South Sudan, Liberia, Angola and Somalia is proof of its capacity and readiness to contribute to global peace and security.
Zimbabwe has actively contributed to peacekeeping missions in Angola, Somalia, Liberia, Sudan, South Sudan, and beyond. Our troops and police officers have earned recognition for discipline, professionalism, and dedication.
2 weeks ago, President Mnangagwa officially unveiled the campaign in Harare, describing Zimbabwe's bid as part of its commitment to be a responsible global player and a voice for the global South. The country's bid has already received backing from the SADC, the African Union, and allies such as Venezuela, Japan, China, Russia, India, Cuba, and Palestine.
Zimbabwe and Venezuela are two brother countries that have a very good, firm relation, and we have always been supportive in the multilateral fora. And we are going to support your candidature for the non-permanent member post in the Security Council.
On the sidelines of the United Nations General Assembly, Professor Mwirira met with the UAE's Minister of State, His Excellency Sheikh Shakbout bin Nayan. The two reaffirmed ties, pledging to elevate relations from political goodwill to concrete economic partnerships.
It's one of the much needed meetings we expect as an economy, as we try to extend our hands to the global community, as we try to engage, as we try to integrate with the global community. And we are going to take advantage of that integration as we do business with those economies in the Middle East. So it's a much needed engagement.
If successful, Zimbabwe will serve on the Council from 2027 to 2028, marking its third tenure since independence. Zimbabwe says its campaign is about building bridges and advancing a fairer world order, a vision it hopes to champion from one of the UN's most influential organs. Iben Mabunda, ZTN Prime.
Meanwhile, Speaker of the National Assembly, Advocate Jacob Mudenda, says Parliament's adoption of the integrated result-based management system will be key in driving Zimbabwe towards the attainment of the Sustainable Development Goals and the targets that have been set under the National Development Strategy. Advocate Mudenda was speaking in Mlayo, where he officially opened a 3-day capacity building workshop for chief directors and directors of Parliament.
The Integrated Results-Based Management System, or IRBM, is a planning and accountability framework that focuses on achieving measurable results. It has been used across government ministries and agencies since 2005 to link budgets, programs, and performance targets. National Assembly Speaker Advocate Jacob Mudenda believed the system will help strengthen efficiency, accountability, and service delivery within Parliament as it aligns its operations to national development priorities.
The modern principles of results-based management emerged from Peter Drucker's penetrating insight that organizations achieve their loftiest purposes not through benevolent intentions alone, but through systematic alignment of effort with measurable objectives.
Directors and Chief Directors of Parliament are undergoing a 3-day capacity building workshop in Bulawayo aimed at strengthening performance through the integrated results-based management system. Advocate Mudenda believes adoption of IRBM ensures the Parliament delivers measurable results that contributes directly to Vision 2030 and the Sustainable Development Goals.
Management is doing things right, not wrong. Leadership is doing the right things.
Also present at the workshop was Minister of State for Bulawayo Metropolitan Province, Judith Ngube, who commended Parliament for hosting the event in the city. She said decentralization of such programs was critical in ensuring inclusivity, adding that the adoption of the integrated results-based system would accelerate efforts towards sustainable development.
This workshop is of great significance as it aims to introduce and deepen the understanding of integrated result-based management among directors, clarify the institutional implications of transitioning to IRBM, and provide guidance on the development, implications, and monitoring of performance contracts.
The workshop is being facilitated by the Public Service Commission and is designed to equip Parliament's leadership with tools to implement and monitor its 2025 to 2029 strategic plan. Advocate Mudenda said Parliament must lead by example in institutional performance if the country is to achieve inclusive growth and development.
Efficiency is doing things right. Effectiveness is doing the right things. You can be efficient in your administration, but without being effective. And these remain the foundational pillars upon which IRBM philosophy stands.
Key components of an IRBM system include setting clear, measurable objectives, identifying indicators to track progress, and establishing performance targets. With clear targets, performance indicators, and a culture of accountability, Parliament is poised to play a pivotal role in ensuring Zimbabwe achieves inclusive growth and sustainable development under Vision 2030. For ZTN Prime, I'm Andile Chuma in Bulawayo.
A somber atmosphere hovered over Bulawayo today as the city bade farewell to one of its most treasured sons, media and arts personality Babongile Sikhonjwa. Babongile's final journey was marked by a solemn yet celebratory procession through the streets of Bulawayo, retracing the places and people that defined his life. Family, friends, colleagues and those whose lives it touched gathered at the Bulawayo Amphitheatre to pay their last respects. More in this report.
Today, Bulawayo paid tribute to one of its brightest stars, Babongile Sikhonjwa, affectionately known as Babo or the Ndebele rock star. It was a befitting honor, one which matched his colorful life. A radio host, master of ceremonies, comedian and cultural activist, Babongile's life was a celebration of creativity, humor and passion for the arts. For nearly 3 decades, he captivated audiences across Zimbabwe, using his voice, wit and infectious energy to entertain, inform and inspire. From the airwaves of Sky's Metro FM and Star FM to live stages across the country, his charisma drew people in and left them smiling long after he had left the room. Babongile's father, speaking to mourners, described him as a man full of life, generosity and humor.
You know, he used to pull a little stance in the head. One time, I was in Chagin. What else is a comment? Kodwa ngiyakwazi indebele lasezazokhunga kuzokhunga abafana besone belemali basikahle ngitshele wayamandebele ngalamali amandebele agqoka amabheji ibheji lalilazikhwama.
Babongile's son, Gobo, who's doing his grade 7 at a local primary school, shared a personal message of love and admiration.
And this is for you, Dala. I will always love you, no matter what happens, no matter what. Not even death can separate us. I'll always love you, but I'll always love you, Dad. You're the best dad I could ever ask for.
At the time of his death, Babongile was with Star FM radio station, where he hosted shows on Tuesdays and Thursdays. His voice, energy, and humor won over thousands. It also touched his workmates and colleagues.
Powerful character who gets into trouble. And I said, if we were getting married, I would write a prenuptial agreement with you, because I don't know how far this will go, but we'll give it a try.
Esikubonayo ngempilo kaSikhonjwa ube ngumuntu okademela ubuntu bamaNdebele, ube ngumuntu okademela indaba zikaMthwakazi, ube ngumuntu okade eziphenya ngobuyithi bethu. Yikho-ke on behalf of the Ministry of Information, on behalf of also the government of Zimbabwe, I want to say the government expresses its deep sadness for the loss of this hero of this region.
Fans and friends alike described Babo as a larger-than-life personality whose laughter was contagious and whose spirit could light up even the darkest room. He had a rare ability to connect with people from all walks of life, earning him a special name in the hearts of many.
Going into that together. Nonetheless, he's always been a person I could sit with, have a creative conversation, come up with ways of how we can, spice up the entertainment industry. Sometimes we actually have evenings where we say, okay, you know what, we're meeting up for a drink, we're going to sit down. and we're going to just brainstorm.
The Babongile I know was Babongile the brave, was Babongile who was daring, and there's nothing new. We grew up together. We did things together. We went to Mzingwane and changed the culture of Mzingwane, especially on the arts side. We were able to bring in professionals like Abo Sticks Mhlanga or Conti Mhlanga. People were talking at the funeral about how he made variety shows and all that. I did that with Babongile.
His impact extended beyond radio and comedy. Through cultural activism, Babo celebrated Zimbabwean heritage, storytelling and the arts, leaving a legacy that will continue to inspire generations to come. As Bulawayo bids him farewell, the city remembers not only his talent, but the love, warmth and joy he shared with everyone he met. Babongile's Sikhonjwa may have passed, but his spirit, laughter and contributions to Zimbabwean culture will live on forever. For ZTN Prime, I'm Andile Chuma in Bulawayo.
Babongile will be laid to rest tomorrow. May his soul rest in peace. Newsplus comes back after this.
They will be bubbling about this one for weeks and months to come. Let's go!
Wherever you are, whatever your reason, it's on SuperSport all season long. Reconnect and stay connected to DSTV Compact and get the best football on us.
Welcome back. You are still watching Newsplus. Thank you so much for staying with us. Now, the Zimbabwe Prisons and Correctional Services has undertaken significant investment in human capital as part of its inmate rehabilitation efforts. This initiative was highlighted during the ZPCS Days provincial celebrations that are held at Rudaka Stadium in Marondera today. Speaking at the event, Minister of State for Mashonaland East, Itai Ndudzo, revealed that ZPCS Mashonaland East has constructed health and educational facilities as part of their rehabilitation projects, aiming to support the reintegration of inmates into society.
The mandate of the correctional services to provide a secure and humane environment while implementing rehabilitation programs becomes an investment in human capital. In Mashonaland East Province, we see it in the construction of the Boni Clinic in Seke and the new clinic at Ridikita Farm Prison. These facilities, built using local resources in line with our devolution agenda, will save thousands, uniting inmates, officers, and the surrounding community.
The Zimbabwe Prisons and Correctional Services reviewed that their main thrust is on skills transfer to inmates throughout the province.
In this province, we've managed to build schools, for example, the ED Mnangagwa in Mutogo. We have also managed to build clinics in Mausekwa, and right now we are also constructing a school in Reom. So that's what most of our rehabilitation programs are what we are doing is rehabilitation programs using inmates as part of their skills transfer. We also are doing agricultural activities in this province, where we are contributing to the province food security trust, and also the national trust of having sufficient food for our inmates.
Now, the weekend is upon us, and what better way to prepare for it than to take a look at what we have in terms of the weather. We have the weatherman, James Ngoma, the chief forecaster with the Met Department, to help us do just that. James, good evening, and thank you so much for joining us. We are heading into the weekend. Is there anything interesting that we should expect in terms of the weather?
Thank you very much, Faith. Looking at the conditions that we've had just of today, we had cloudy conditions over the southern parts of the country, covering Matabeleland, South Masvingo and Manicaland, where we had a bit of rain and drizzle over the southern parts, with the significant falls over Chimanimani and Chipinge, where we had 9 and 8 millimeters respectively. But tomorrow we're expecting brief cloudy periods over those areas once again. And as we get into Sunday, we expect the cloud to break, giving us more of sunny conditions. But our interesting phenomenon is coming later on next week. We're expecting on Tuesday, as the month of September ends and we begin the month of October. We're expecting moisture to drift into the western parts of the country, covering Matabeleland, north and south, into the interior, passing through Midlands, into Masvingo, and later on in Manicaland. We're expecting isolated thunder showers, and this should be coupled with light rain and also the possibility of lightning and hailstorms in some places. And because of this, there's a major threat to livelihoods and livestock as well.
Now, James, it's interesting you mentioned the light showers we are likely to experience. What should our farmers then be looking to do?
Thank you once again. Looking at our winter crop, the major threat is to the wheat that is drying in the field, as well as the horticultural produce, where we're expecting chances of hailstorms, and also this rain might also delay the drying out of the crops that are currently in the field. So farmers should take precautions and, where possible, harvest as much as possible so that they reduce the losses that might occur because of the onset of the coming rains.
Well, James, thank you so much for your time and for that weather update. James Ngoma with the Met Department. Now, let's take a look at news from around the world. In South Africa, Heritage Day took on extra flavor this Wednesday when Loftus Veerveld Stadium in Pretoria transformed into the site of the world's largest communal braai festival in a bid for a Guinness World Record. According to a Guinness World Records adjudicator, the previous record was set in Japan in 2023 with 2,220 people. Participants in South Africa hoped to surpass that number with 2,500 people. Now, confirmation of that attempt has not yet been announced, as the numbers are still being reviewed and verified by the Guinness World Record adjudicators.
And I'm adjudicating the most people grilling or barbecuing simultaneously. The record had already exists, set in Japan in 2023, where 2,220 people achieved the record. Today they're hoping to beat that with 2,500 people.
You know, we out here in USA, United States of South Africa, the world's biggest braai, the world's biggest braai. The energy's up, the vibe is up. We got Tonga people, Tswana people, Zulu people. We got everyone. We got colors. We got the Nyebs. Come on, man. It's the best place to be in South Africa, actually. Look at us. Everybody's braaiing. It's a vibe, eh? People are enjoying the country. Like, look at this. Look at this. We do this thing.
Senegalese President Bassirou Diomaye Faye has condemned what he described as the dehumanization of a world through international law during his address at the 80th UN General Assembly in New York City. The Senegalese leader called for integrated efforts to counter terrorism in Africa.
Le plus préoccupant, c'est la déshumanisation désolante d'un monde d'émotions sélectives selon les intérêts et les enjeux géopolitiques. Il ne peut y avoir de justice fondée sur le droit quand ce qui tient lieu d'ordre international est régi par la logique du deux poids, deux mesures, par la loi du plus fort et l'esprit partisan. Dans ce contexte préoccupant, l'Afrique reste confrontée à des conflits armés, au terrorisme en particulier au Sahel, à la criminalité transfrontalière et à l'instabilité politique. Face à tant de défis, notre approche devrait être intégrée, combinant prévention, résilience et réponse ciblée.
In Syria, living conditions for displaced Syrians in the camps of Idlib, that's northwest in Syria, continue to deteriorate, with residents reporting a decline in health and living standards due to a lack of basic services. The situation, which has been described as extremely dire, has been blamed on the withdrawal of aid organizations that had previously provided support.
يوم اللي كانت المنظمات يا أخي في عالم بتشيل النفايات، في خدمات للمي، في خدمات للصرف الصحي. هذا اليوم كله واقف نهائيا، ما في ولا مقومات حياة تحسن تعيش فيها هوني نهائيا.
صرنا 12 سنة نازحين في هاي المخيمات. الحقيقة أول ما جينا هاي المخيمات كان الوضع سيء للغاية، يعني لا في مي، ما في خدمات أبدا، لا في تعليم، لا في مشافي، ما في شيء نهائيا. يعني إذا بدنا بدونة مي نطلع على الضيعة المجاورة مشان نجيب لترين مي. كان الوضع كثير سيء. بالشتوية عانينا من العوازل، من الخيام، حتى خيام ما كانت متواجدة، كانت الناس أغلبها تقعد تحت العوازل. وبالصيف كمان الأمراض كثير الوضع كان سيء.
When Newsplus comes back, we take a look at some business news.
Got some questions about Showmax? Well, we've got the answers. What is Showmax? Showmax is not a TV channel. It's a streaming service with tons of hit series, movies, and more. Plus, Premier League live on mobile. Just pick what you want and hit play. No schedule or airing times. With Showmax, you watch what you want, when you want, and where you want. For any other queries, find us on Facebook, X, Instagram, or TikTok.
Welcome back. You're still watching Newsplus. Now, in a look at business tonight, Wange Colliery Company is constructing arguably the biggest underground mining site in Zimbabwe. The project, whose foundations have been laid, is a joint venture between the coal giant and Chinese investor Yongjin Heli. The project will see Wange Town, home to Zimbabwe's largest coal mine, soon becoming home to a $500 million core value addition and beneficiation industrial park. Mines and Mining Development Minister Winston Chitando says that the project is expected to begin next month.
That means from 1st of October, Wange can now channel some of his coking coal to value add into coke and then sell at greater values. So it will enhance not only the revenue for Wange Colliery Company, but its profitability as well. And again, it's a thrust towards value addition and the beneficiation. Very important as well is that the coke oven battery has been refurbished at a very cost-effective manner, at a cost of around 9 million. I think that was the budget, which is quite low compared to some of the traditional costs for putting up coke oven batteries. So I think that's also pleasing from that perspective.
Now let's talk policy. Zimbabwe is working on a new national trade tariff policy that is expected to reshape the country's trade landscape. The framework was validated at a meeting that was hosted by the Competition and Tariff Commission today in Harare, with industry players insisting it must tackle long-standing issues that have weakened local competitiveness. Our business reporter, Melissa Chachkobo, has more on this.
Zimbabwe's economy has gone through major shifts, and the country now seeks to align with global trade trends. The national trade tariff policy is designed to strike a balance between liberalization, time-bound protection, and industrial transformation. Industry players say the new framework must deliver a fair playing field for local producers. Agricultural stakeholders point to dairy and agricultural implements, sectors they say have long struggled against cheaper imports.
So we are worried in the stock feed manufacturing industry space. We are very much worried. We are very much worried in the dairy processing sector. We are worried there as well. So we do need remedial actions to protect our industries for a little bit longer.
The textile industry has also raised concern over unfair competition. They want the policy to cushion local players and drive growth.
We've had David Whitehead make major investments of over 22 million, but the market itself, in terms of where we're operating and selling, is not protected.
By Zimbabwe says the new tariff policy must provide a safe operating environment, one that empowers local manufacturers to compete on the global stage.
Coming up with policies that give an advantage to our local manufacturers. So we want this policy to be used as a tool that empowers our local manufacturing sector.
The Competition and Tariff Commission says the framework is crafted to promote fair trade in line with Zimbabwe's international obligations.
Tariff policies seek to address tariff anomalies and also anomalies in the administration of trade tariffs. The chair talked about arbitrary adjustments of tariffs, sometimes which do not look at the impact on consumers.
The policy is expected to be a key driver of industrial growth, aligning tariffs with national economic goals while balancing the interest of both industry and consumers. Reporting for ZTM Prime, I am Melissa Chetkubo in Harare.
Some good news for livestock farmers. Government says it has contained foot and mouth disease, which had spread in several provinces. The outbreak had hit several areas in Matabeleland South, Matabeleland North, Midlands, Chiredzi and Manicaland. Speaking during the World School Milk Day celebrations at Louis Mountbatten Primary School in Harare, the Chief Director of the Veterinary Services, Dr. Pius Makaya, said that 8,000 dairy cattle, which were at high risk, have been vaccinated.
I'm sure you heard that we had some outbreaks in some few districts, in Bikita, Bowera, Bedbridge. Now we have controlled that FMD, foot and mouth disease, is in full control. Farmers, the dairy farmers, should really understand that government always prioritizes our dairy.
And now for some entertainment news.
This is a people's game. They will be bubbling about this one for weeks and months to come. Let's go!
Wherever you are, whatever your reason, it's on SuperSport all season long. Reconnect and stay connected to DSTV Compact and get the best football on us.
Now, Nasty C is back in Zimbabwe this weekend as he kicks off his tour to promote his new album titled Free. The rapper has launched an 11-country, 17-stop Ivison tour that is kicking off in Harare at Longchen Plaza this weekend, with tickets selling for as little as $2.50. Other stops include Nigeria, Ghana, Namibia, Zambia, Uganda and Eswatini, and of course his home country, South Africa, among others. Nasty C has consistently used the Ivison tour as a vehicle to connect directly with fans and expand his presence across Africa and beyond.
Zim, Harare, 27th of September, Ivison tour, Longchen Plaza. I can't wait to see you guys, man. The album is out. It's called Free. If you don't know, go out there, check it out. It's been doing really, really well. Thank you to everyone that's been listening. I can't wait to see you guys, man. 27th of September. Yikes.
Now, some other big news for Zimbabwe's film sector, or film industry rather. 7 highly acclaimed Nigerian actors touched down in Zimbabwe today ahead of the highly anticipated premiere of Lost in Ashes, in which they are starring together with local socialite comedian turned actress Maititi. Deputy Minister of Sports, Recreation, Arts and Culture, Emily Josiah, led the official opening welcoming delegation. She praised the Nigerian stars for honoring Zimbabwe with their presence and of course spoke passionately about the broader significance of the collaboration. For Maititi, the arrival of a Nigerian co-stars was nothing short of a personal milestone. She shared her excitement with all those who came to witness their arrival, including Tafadzwa Zumoyo, the Zim Paper's entertainment editor.
My sisters, my brothers, I don't know what to say. You have made me the happiest person on earth.
And thank you for fulfilling my dream. It has come true. Some people didn't want to be a part of this dream, but I'm happy now. The dream is bigger than what it was at one time. So in a nutshell, God will always make a way, and He will always do it bigger. So kwenu,
And now for some sporting news.
Dental checkups, experiments, games.
The mixture is making bubbles and the bubbles have changed color. Our balloon has been filled by carbon dioxide.
We have it all right here on Happy Sprouts. Catch us exclusively on Citizen Prime, DSTV channel 294.
Welcome back. You're still watching Newsplus. Now in our look at some sporting action, Dynamo's midfielder Denver Mukamba is relishing the chance to face city rivals Cape United in Sunday's highly anticipated Harare derby. Both teams are desperate to win, not just for the bragging rights to the capital, but to pull themselves away from the relegation zone. Mukamba, of course, has history in this fixture. He says he's ready to settle the score with Dimbari faithful after scoring against them while wearing the green jersey of Cape United back in 2018.
Yeah, best I belong to the it's my best job. That time and again I go Capes Dynamos. I remember the Capes till 1-0. Also now I'm back in Dynamo, so I want to score against the Capes again. So Lagos on Sunday, and each college she won with Dynamos. Again of Capes, Lagos of Capes. I need to maintain my level. Different of those games, in wega kana ukatonzwa kuti wikiro utamane Capes kana Dynamos unofana kutoita confidence wega aufana kutumwa kubhora kuti versus Cape versus Dynamos because igame lokuti nyika yese inenge yakatarisa inge lot of the players kana vanotorwa kuma big clubs Dynamos Capes kana vanoenda national team there unofana kuchinyasotamba bhora unofana kuonekwa nenyika yese kuti you are a good player.
Now, this Harare derby couldn't be more crucial. Both sides are in a dogfight for survival, and Mukamba is adamant that confidence will be the deciding factor as players prepare for the biggest fixture on the Premiership calendar.
Yeah, it's a big match in Zimbabwe, you know. So, Capes versus Dynamos. Yeah, this game is because zvasiyana nekuti pamwe pese makatamba nekwekwe kana chipa, but Capes is a different match. So on Sunday we are looking for fighting from relegation, you know. It's not easy, that game on Sunday, but we are willing. The team will do it on Sunday against the Cape United. It's easy to Zimbabwe zona magame akadaro because kune vanhu vanenge vabva kugweru awayo and many people in Zimbabwe, so tochivaudza kuti pata confidence because ungoita confidence yako kubhora chete you can go far.
Now, in some cricket news, Zimbabwe's cricket team has made a winning start at the ICC T20 World Cup Africa qualifier. Brian Bennett smashed 72 of 44 balls as the Chevrons beat Uganda by 5 wickets at Harare Sports Club. Zimbabwe chased 153 and finished on 157 for 5 with 15 balls to spare. Brad Evans and Blessing Mzarabani each took 3 wickets to stall Uganda's early charge. Brendan Taylor added 39 while Skandar Raza hit 24. Now Raza praised the team's belief and skill, saying early nerves are now out of the way. The Chevrons face Botswana tomorrow, a powerful opening statement from Zimbabwe as their World Cup quest takes off. Now, in more football news, Highlanders switch focus back to the survival bid when they welcome ZPC Kariba at Barberfield Stadium in Blayo on Sunday. We get more in this report.
Highlanders return to Barberfield Stadium this Sunday, fresh off their dramatic win over Scotland in the Chibuku Super Cup quarter-finals. Boso faces stubborn ZPC Kariba side, with the Blayo Giants desperate to cement their top-flight status after a challenging season. Head coach Peter de Jong is targeting 7 points from their final 6 matches, starting with this crucial encounter.
We want only one thing, and that is the club save from a relegation. We need the 7 points out 6 games. We are coming then on 40 points. 40 points is enough to save the club for relegation. That is our target. And how earlier we bring the 7 points, how better it is. And sometimes you win, sometimes you draw, sometimes you lost. We know it is an important game because Kariba is op 37, we stay op 33. When you win, you come on 1 point for Kariba.
Against Scotland, Boso fans played a key role in the team's come from behind victory, with the world-travelled de Jong believing that they once again be the decisive factor against PC Kariba.
We know that it a very difficult game is Sunday, and I hope Sunday a lot of fans to see at BF, look like last week Sunday against Scotland, because our fans are amazing. Big support we had the last game, and that support needed also Sunday for the league, because it is an important game. Every game is important, and the feeling is good. We know it is not easy, maar we go for a good result.
With only 6 matches left in the season, Highlanders, the oldest club in the top flight, know exactly what a win on Sunday means. 3 points against the ZPC Kariba side will not be just a win, but a giant step towards guaranteeing their survival for another season.
Zimbabwe will host the SADC Anti-Corruption Expo and Games 2026 for the first time as part of raising awareness and engaging citizens on corruption issues. Botswana hosted the 2018 edition, followed by South Africa in 2019, Lesotho in 2023, Eswatini in 2024, and Namibia this year in 2025. At this year's Games, Zimbabwe won a silver medal in netball and silver medals in both male and female volleyball. Speaking during a welcome reception for the Zimbabwe team, which participated in the just-ended Games in Namibia, ZAC chairperson Michael Reza emphasized the importance of the Games.
This issue of anti-corruption agencies, sports events, is very significant because it brings different players from different countries in the same arena to share experiences while taking part in sport. This, as you may be aware, these games started in 2018, but they started as social games, but they've since gained significance, they've since gained importance to an extent that in Namibia this year, as you heard, there were 605 people who came to attend, to take part in the games. And Zimbabwe will be hosting in 2026. So we are expecting north of 700 people who come from SADC to come and take part in these games.
Head of the delegation, Commissioner Zalera Zvinema Kari, and a team member, Charity Majome, speak on the games.
I'm hoping that the same enthusiasm, the same tenacity that we used on the floor courts, we're going to use in our own nation to fight corruption, which is a scourge in our nation. We came back seized with the opportunity to invite all other SADC countries to Zimbabwe. Next year, 2026, we are hosting the Anti-Corruption SADC Games.
We went as a team. We conquered together, we won together, and we had the challenges that we had together. But it was an amazing experience. It's also a good break from anti-corruption work, which is difficult work, by the way. And we are looking forward to hosting the games, which will be held in 2026 Zimbabwe.
Well, that's all we had for you on Newsplus this Friday evening. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Faith Nyaude. We leave you watching the weather forecast. Good evening and enjoy your weekend.
Gather around. Okay, I saw
Cublo Vibes.